say like half an hour, 25 minutes. We'll look a little bit more into the audience, if the questions are. Like I said on the call. Like that, and that's it. And otherwise, the one who really wants to go gets to go. Yeah, we ready?
Where are we expected to sit?
Wherever you You're not going for the couch, Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Gijsbregt Brouwer, podcast host, writer, and Trendwatcher. Gijsbregt, over to you.
You're on? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I seem to be on. Thank you all. Just come in. If you're standing outside, come in. You will hear us better. I remember this from last year. And do take some seats at the first row. It works really better than sitting in the back. We're going to discuss F&B and hospitality today. I said to the four white middle-aged men we have to get here.
I stepped down.
38.
We are very, very, very non-inclusive today. But I said to them, we at least have to mention AI once today. And I will take it for my account because whoever thought of elevating the Plateful, future-forward F&B trends in hospitality can only be ChatGPT, in my opinion, because this is such a complex title. So we covered the AI part, so we can discuss food today, and we should discuss food. There's four of you. I'm going to let you introduce yourself a bit, starting with Joost de Graaf. Edis, can you say a bit about yourself and about Edis?
I come from the F&B, worked from the kitchen into the service, from brasserie bars up to Dani Garcia Michelin. Kind of moved into hotel business, came to Amsterdam to work at Soho, worked there for 4 years, and now I work for a real estate company that we just started our own hotels. First one that we opened is the Durgerdam. For those that don't know, Durgerdam is in Durgerdam. And there we run a small hotel with a restaurant called The Mark. And we're developing 2 more properties, one in Amsterdam. Then we're going from 48 seats Durgerdam to a 260 seats restaurant in the city center. And we're building another resort in the east. So we're doing multiple projects.
Okay, so Joost, next is Louis Meijner from Supper.
Yes.
Food as a service. You do a lot with technology, so go ahead.
Yes, we do it. And it's also thinking outside the box. Food as a service means that we have a 24/7 food solution. It's not only about the food, but it's also about the system behind it. And yeah, we diminish food waste. We take care of your operations so that you have no qualified staff on board, or when you don't have it, that you can still serve great tasting food at any moment of time. In midnight with late arrivals, or just during the day for bar food or snacks.
Okay, thanks. Elmar de Beer, Pillows Hotel.
Yeah.
Please tell you.
Pillows Hotel, the new 5-star luxury hotel here in Amsterdam. Opening up hotels, developing new concepts, traveling the world for culinary delights, different cultures, and so forth. This is my passion. Our hotel just opened up a year or so ago, really making a statement in Amsterdam. All of our hotels across Brussels, the Netherlands, Ghent, really making a good impact in what we're standing for. Personalized service, really that time is everything, make it count. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Michael Eman, at this point, opening 2 hotels under a new label, The Usual. Can you tell a bit more about yourself?
I'm Michael Eman. I'm a F&B consultant, AMA Hospitality Projects. We create and develop food and beverage concepts from A to Z. So from first ID until implementation and concept guarding. First project that we ever did was Citizen M hotels, still existing. And now here on behalf of The Usual Hotel Group, 100 Sustainable Hotel Group, As we speak, opening in Rotterdam, 209 rooms and 80 rooms in Brussels. Opening 8th of April, both of the hotels. And then growing afterwards in the Netherlands, but also in Italy and Germany and all other countries.
Okay, cool. Just one question for the audience. Can you hear everybody well? Everybody loud enough? Okay, thanks. I promised to kick off with a bit of an open question. The year is 2024. We just entered March. The real season is just around the corner. What are we going to see this year? What are we awaiting? And let's keep it a little in the niche of food and beverage and hospitality. Joost, we're sitting so nice across of each other. I'll start with you. What would you expect for this season? Because it's crazy years.
I think a lot of the entrepreneurs that are now also really opening the restaurants, they're very much focused on concept. Like no one is really opening a place anymore with 40, 50 items. Places are looking at how can we really integrate design with the menu, as well as kind of how do we want to bring ourselves as a brand across. So what you're seeing is that you have places that open with menus with 4 items, but very good and very strong in their concept, whereas other places open up more in the Michelin kind of level, where they are really, even within the Michelin, very focused on kind of a concept and what you're true to. That has developed also the way you look at what is Michelin. You can now give that a much broader concept, and different places, like what was the Korean guy on the street and got a Michelin. So it's very much, and I think this year especially, as people see that people are looking for that concept and they need to be triggered everywhere.
Okay. So concept focus for F&B. Louis, what do you see happening this year in the world of hospitality F&B?
I see it as the bigger picture. I think it's affordability for one. And for a second, this is the year where we need to be responsibility also for our operations in terms of food waste. Is ESG, Scope 3 responsibility is happening right now, and we need to communicate about it next year. So I think that is one big part of everything that happens back of house, and it will also be translated in what we see on our plate. If we want to control that operation from a sustainability level.
Okay, so what will we see on our plate?
So I think when talking about affordability, less meat, but when you see it, it will be better, locally sourced, maybe organic. I hope so. And I think it's possible with the right calculations, with the right data-driven systems, kitchen management tools. So that you have a system to also implement that better quality meat as well, and not only buy it in, because you see prices go like this. Also for fish, I still think it's possible, but when you do serve your vegetables, it will be cheaper. So I think we are looking at the age of the vegetables, and they will be treated as meat, so they will be more interesting in flavor and how they look on the plate.
Okay, so concept-wise, affordability seems very clear for me this year as well. Also, sustainability. Elmar, what do you see happening for this year?
Well, I see consistency as key as we go forward. I mean, after the rough couple of years that we've had in the past, going forward, I think having your mindset, having consistency, okay, this is what I want to do, this is where I want to go, having that consistency of pulling through all the way. If it is a basic product, as I mentioned, or a guest culinary experience, more in a fine dining setting, really pull it through. There are going to be hard times, but we're looking forward. And yeah, just counting on it in a matter of that returning guest, always pulling through in, I know what I'm going to get at this place, I know the service is like this, food is delicious, so just consistency, I think, from our perspective, in a basic setting or in a guest experience setting.
And just a follow-up question, consistency, how much of that is determined by the brand?
No, I think if you set your concepts down, it's a concept that people believe in, especially your salespeople that really need to follow through and sell the product itself. I think it's a win-win situation. If it's not sellable, if it's not believable, if it's too far-fetched or so forth, this is when you start losing your faith in the product and so forth. So if the brand really thinks about it itself, really good, solid concept, as we see, less is more, more is less, and really going forward with that.
Okay, so believable brands and consistency. Michael.
So now I have to agree.
Yeah,
So
so
that was short.
I go back from now on. So you get to be the first one for the next question.
I agree with you that a concept should be more than only a concept. It's experience, it's design, it's eye for detail. Very important. I come back to you, Louis. What we see is sustainability, and we managed to do so with the usual hotel. We still need to prove because we will open. Locally sourced, daily fresh, that is a big challenge, as you know, but we managed to do so. There's also a new business model. You have the high-end hotels and restaurants, F&B related, as you can see here. But every hotel that's underneath, they need to change their business model because the way of working is going to be totally different. Yeah. You don't have enough staff anymore. No. Kitchen investments are way too expensive, so you need to narrow it down and be smart and think about it. That's what you do in a great way with supper. There are more opportunities, but people really need to think about if they are going to build a hotel or a restaurant in a hotel, don't do it in the traditional way anymore.
People come to a hotel. They come as a traveler, as a businessman, businesswoman. They come for leisure, pleasure, for business, for everything. One thing I think is in common is everybody's expecting more from food. So food as a lifestyle is sort of chipping away from food as an amenity or food as a convenience. How do you look in your maybe last 2 or 3 concepts you see probably a development there? How do you see the value of food, not in a business way, but in a perception way for your client? How do you see it change?
That's very clear. That change went on already for 10 years ago. People used to choose a hotel for the hotel room, big hotel room or small, whatever your reason is to travel. But nowadays, food and beverage is a trigger to get people to the hotels. And then you get the experience and the food, but also what is the background of the food? Where is it coming from? People are getting more knowledge about where the products are coming from, and that's where they make their choice nowadays. And we need to take that into account, and that's also a bit difficult for the wholesalers, because we are going to look at other suppliers. Yeah. So it's going to be a big change.
And how do you because I can see if I'm going to go to Elmar next. I'm going to be a high-end restaurant. It's probably quite easy to communicate, but if you're going to be the right restaurant, getting the right ingredients, being sustainable, how would you communicate that in the whole brand or in the whole message of the hotel?
You can only communicate that if it's 100% true. So don't shout out if it's not true. If it's not sustainable, don't talk about it. Just say that's your ambition to be sustainable. What we do is that we check all our suppliers. Where is the flour coming from? Etc., etc. And then we have our own ISG manager. So they check it, and if it's okay, we do it, and then we can communicate about it. If it's not 100% sustainable, we need to level it a bit. So you need to tell the honest story, and if the story is honest, then you can communicate.
I'm going to stay a bit longer because you with the usual, you actually use it in the byline of the hotel. Yeah. So you're going to be very explicit about this.
Yes, absolutely. And it took us a few months to achieve that.
Okay.
If I may jump on it, like being proud of Durgerdam. Yeah. Let's put that forward. So 3 weeks ago, we actually got the certificate from the Green Globe. So we've actually in the background been working a lot on zero waste, and so we what we did is we just acted on it. So when we developed the site, we built a compost machine in the back, so we're having our own compost. We have our different kind of garbage flows. We work with different companies, suppliers, so we just did. And as we were piecing the things together, the menu shows. So if you look at our menu, everything is local, plant-based, not vegan. That's a different world and a different concept, but vegetarian. And then, of course, we get to the meat and the fish. We have that as well, but very local and local. So we don't have paling on the menu. Even though I would love paling, eel. I would love to have eel on the menu, and especially because in market, that's where we produce, but we don't do it. So as we kind of progressed and delivered on our message, now we will start promoting it more. Because now we got the certificate, we got the recognition, and now the things are in place. So, and also for the next concept, that's what we're working for. So that sustainability starts with just doing it.
Yeah.
Don't shout before you get there. Just do it. Find your way, because we also struggled last year entirely. Things went wrong horribly. Yeah. But then at one point you find your way, and as you settle, you have something to promote and to stay, and then you get certification, and that's when you can kind of deliver on that message and that brand. So also part of our brand is that sustainability element.
So you get feedback from certificates from all kinds of green organizations. I can imagine, for example, for you, Elmar, it's maybe not your main focus. Your focus is on high-end quality, on even winning concepts. What is your way of getting feedback on your in-house F&B concepts?
Well, when it comes to being more sustainable and so forth, I think one of our major steps that we've taken as a hotel, when we opened up the hotel, we had a semi-buffet a la carte breakfast, if I can call it like that, whereby we did notice a lot of food waste that's coming out of this. You're talking per person about 300 grams that we just had to throw away if you calculate the whole thing together. We decided, as a high-end hotel, how can we minimize food waste but also elevate the product? So changing the whole breakfast concept rather into a la carte.
Yeah.
Not easy, but doing every dish brand new.
Fully agree.
Keeping the base the same for certain kind of dishes, egg dishes, the healthy ones, and so forth. The reviews that we get is impeccable. Your food waste has now gone down to about 15 grams per person.
That's a
huge
step.
Looking at the going greener, you also have to listen and feel what your guest wants. But yet, try to elevate the product, don't minimize it at the same time.
So here you win both in sustainability and in hospitality.
Absolutely, absolutely. For going a little bit more into the fine dining, reusing every single product. If you peel your potatoes or the shells of your shellfish, you use everything more and more and more in order to incorporate it into your menu to really minimize your food waste in a maximum capacity.
I think this is your bread and butter, Louis. Is this the only reason people come to you, or is it the first reason why people come to you when they want to have supper as a service?
Well, I think it's time and place. I mean, if you are in the center of London with a lot of competition, will you be that go-to destination for your restaurant? Will you build that expensive kitchen with your 20 chefs? I don't think so anymore. But you still need good food, healthy food at any time of day. If you have that late arrival at 11 o'clock, all the chefs are home. What are you going to do? So I don't care if it is 3-star, 4-star or 5-star hotel. We all experience the same issues year after year after year. And I think now, also because of sustainability trend, it gets more highlighted also in your data. So, and of course, if you have control, if you have skilled staff, please go and do it. But I do think that you need a strategy beforehand, because sustainability is so wide, it's so big. It's about circularity as well. If we are going to use dairy, are we also going to use the calves? Because it's part of the whole circular system. I mean, you can be very dedicated to sustainability, but it also needs to fit your brand. It also needs to fit your segment. It needs to be affordable. So you also have to have a bit of a reality check when going into sustainability.
Okay, I fully agree, and I also think that was why I asked this question to Michael. You know, how are you going to integrate this into your communication or into your brand? How, apart from the concept of sustainability, when you put your new business out there, especially you three guys, you're going to open 2 in the next month. You opened 1 last year. You opened 1 last year. How is your F&B? How has your F&B been at the center or not of your communication? What did it do for your opening of your hotel, and say maybe the first year for you two guys and the first coming months for you? I start with you, Elmar.
Well, I think for our particular hotel, our F&B is much bigger than the size of the amount of rooms that we have. So it really plays a massive role within the success of the hotel itself. Relying on your locals, being a culinary destination, as we're saying, people are choosing restaurants for the hotel rather than the hotel for the restaurants. This is, in fact, completely true. And focusing on those of having guest chefs over collaborations, these kind of really events that stand out. If we sell the hotel or sell the market, the food and beverage part, oh yes, yeah, grab a room with it while you're coming to dine. You don't have to drive home. Little midweek breaks. It's really a very fundamental part of our hotel to push the F&B, and the rooms will come with them.
For the people in the audience that don't know, you are the Pillows in the Oosterpark, and there's 2 or 3 different concepts, right?
Yeah, so in the Pillows, Oosterpark, we have a fantastic fine dining restaurant called Van Oost. It's really a culinary destination. We try to put the fine dining aside, the old classic French way, and really make it a little bit more upbeat, a little bit more lively experience. Besides that, a lovely brasserie, Spring, really focusing on classic Italian dishes, French Italian. So it's very relatable dishes, your Caesar salads, your carpaccios, and so forth. So it's more of a, if your business traveler comes over, I know what I want. I jet lag, I don't want to do all this fancy stuff. Just want to have food and go to sleep. And then, signature classic speakeasy bar, beautiful cocktail bar. A whole list of awards already. The guys are quite special with regards to that. That accompanies a beautiful rooftop bar. When the summer comes, please do pass by. It's beautiful.
Okay, because I always like to visualize. They get to see what you're working at and with. Yep. So Durgerdam with the Mark. Can you tell a little bit more? You have a F&B partner, so to say. You work, or actually 2. Can you tell a bit about your doing there?
So we let me start with the branding. So actually, we branded ourselves as a restaurant with hotel, but it's also because we're very small, right? We're 14 bedrooms, 48-seat restaurant. We have a huge terrace, though, jetty into the water. So you're literally having lunch in the Mark, which is the water area in front. Yeah. So our branding was constantly, we have a restaurant and we have a hotel. We have rooms. Yeah. So everything that we kind of delivered was like, okay, you're coming here for the food experience, and by the way, you can also stay over. And we kind of, our strategy was like go international, and then people will come over, fly over, stay 3-4 nights, so you fill up your hotel rooms. And locally, the restaurant was getting a lot of exposure to make sure that locals, Amsterdam people, were coming into the restaurant. So as a hotel guest, when you arrive, you feel like you're arriving in a buzzing place. Also, our concept is a little slightly different. When you come in, you get checked in by one of the service people. And we work together with Richard and Thomas. They are, with the 2 of them, responsible for 4 Michelin stars in Amsterdam, 212 with 2, and then De La Mer and Juwelier. And they kind of do a cooperation on our level of cooking. But I have to say I'm very proud of the team that is running the kitchen, as well as the hotel manager is a sommelier. So we hired a sommelier, and we made the person a hotel manager.
Yeah.
to make sure that that front F&B delivery is what you get, and the rooms will come. And we have an amazing wine list, and so that whole F&B experience is center. Um, Working with Richard and Thomas, of course, brings a certain level of expectations um, and branding and marketing. So that, of course, also helped. But what I like to say is that what I think we kind of, as a team, really nailed down is that when you come to our place, our team walks around in a T-shirt. The entire kitchen, entire service, everyone walks around in a T-shirt, jeans, and an apron.
Relaxed.
And that kind of lets go of everything that you come around. Because when you come to the place, it's very much designed. You have white tablecloth. We've spent a lot of money on attributes and styling and setting and product. Also, the wine menu is very high level. Food is very high level. But our service and the team, the way they have been delivering that, if I'm proud enough to say it, has been really nice because you get the feedback that everyone goes like, okay, you get that high quality, but at the same time, you don't have to worry. You can relax. If you want a Coca-Cola, you can have a Coca-Cola. You don't have to have all the wines. You can walk away with a 50 euro bill. You can walk away with a 150 euro bill. It's as crazy as you want to. But it's that kind of relaxedness that also helps hotel guests when they come in to feel right at home. You know, you check in with a glass of bubbles.
Yep.
It always helps. Yeah.
That always helps. It works perfectly. But of course, if you have a bigger hotel, it becomes more difficult, right? If you get more rooms, so that goes back to what you can deliver as a boutique.
Michael, you're going to have a bigger hotel in the city center of Rotterdam.
Yeah.
And I think your vision on F&B there is going to be different. Can you tell a little bit about what you're going to do there?
208 hotels in Rotterdam, 400 square meters ground floor, and we don't have a restaurant. So
no restaurant.
We have food and beverage. We have a very huge bar, and we call it a food and beverage wall where we set out our food. But for the rest, it's all lounge sitting, high, low, diverse. So what we would like to do is to get the community in and to make sure that the hotel guests are mingling with the community. And that's our main goal. So no restaurant, but we have good wines, good cocktails.
That's important.
You can also
Brussels,
have more rooms.
For Brussels, totally different. 80 rooms, and we have 40 square meters of food and beverage, 30 seats. Very, very uncomfortable. Yeah. And we're doing a takeaway concept over there in the city center of Brussels. We're doing only gluten-free focaccia on the highest level. It doesn't exist in Brussels, so wait and see if it will work.
Okay, and
what different in the same brand.
Yeah, that's interesting. And what I hear you say for all of you is, we want to have people from locals around, so the tourists or the business people coming in will mingle.
Yeah.
And I think this hotel being a part of a bigger city is always one of the most interesting aspects of having a hotel. And you get the people from the city inside, but of course most of the people who are in your hotel will go outside. And what I wanted to check in with you is, how do you get people to the right spots, the right places into the city? And especially if you're born and bred in, say, Amsterdam, you already work there and you have 14 rooms. It might be a bit easier than if you open in 10, 15 countries in a few years and you have between 200 and 80 rooms. So how do you get the connection? Maybe my question is, how do you get the connection, build up the connection and activate the connection with the city? Michael, I'm going to stick with you for this one.
First of all, do your homework. If you start in Florence, where we will start as well, you need to know exactly what the surroundings is doing and who are the suppliers. To give you an idea, in Florence we will work with the local market, which is very famous, and to see if we can work with the suppliers who have a stand over there. So then immediately you take the community inside your hotel. And if that is a success up front, you can communicate about it. But that's our main goal. First do your homework, look what's outside, and see if you can attach the local suppliers or the local heroes, if we say, if you can integrate them into your hotel concept,
Okay.
as you did a little bit with your start.
You have in London. You have this guy, it's Top Jaw. It's on Instagram. He takes the famous chefs in front of the camera. He says, "What is the best pub? What is the best fish place? What is the best diner? What is the best coffee place?" And all these things, all these tips and tricks, they are in his app.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to be in front of the camera, of course. But it's very popular. You know, it went viral every time, because you have the best chefs telling you where to go. And I think that's also now very live on TikTok and Instagram as well. So you need to be there as a restaurant.
Well, what is interesting to see is that when you the let's say the old hotels, Marriott, Hilton, Hyatt, NH, what you're seeing now is a change where the hotel brand actually understands that they don't know how to operate a restaurant. So what they're doing, instead of doing it yourself and taking the community in, they just give up their lobby or ground space. Here you have the keys and fill it up. So one of the big projects that was done was Dani Garcia in NH in Madrid. He took over, started the brasserie there, and the hotel was booming. No one ever heard of the NH hotel there, but now all of a sudden, lobby is pumping, food is coming out, it's booked, and also hotel guests are booking because they want to have the restaurant. So what you're seeing also is how hotels are now moving into a new city. They just say, forget about the F&B, because in general, I don't want to say it's a mafia kind of thing, but like F&B is very present in cities.
Yeah.
So to enter that world as an outsider, it's very difficult.
Okay, so do your homework. Get the city to come in instead of doing it yourself. Find the local media, something I can support, of course, as founder of the Buik.
Yeah.
What would you say, Elmar?
That pretty much agree. You have to set a trend. Yeah, your little trend setting, your hashtag is very, very in your easy dining, or a collaboration with very high good names. Like Sevens in Van Oost, we have the collaboration with Jannes Bevet. So one of the top chefs in the Netherlands for so many years already, being an advisor, coaching, driving the team to higher levels. So this is really something special. Bar takeovers. We have now actually today we have the 18th best bar in the world and the top 50 doing a takeover in our Fitz's bar tonight. Yeah. You know, this is really getting the name out there for the people of that industry. I think when people start talking, it's the way forward.
Yeah, okay. And what I think is an interesting question, maybe the last question before we go to some of you guys in the audience. How much of this branding, I guess, is already said and done, but how much of this integrating of the city can be done digitally or via an app or via APIs or via collaborations? I'm just from the top of your head, who has an idea with that? Joost is saying no.
But no, I don't believe in it, because I think it's an overflow of information.
Correct.
So don't get a business idea, or maybe it is a business idea, but there needs to be a certain level of humbleness and direct connection, or a network that you trust. And even when you go to a hotel, can you give me recommendations? I actually never believe the concierge or the person that gives me advice, because there's always a deal or there's always something.
There's going to be a kickback or something. Yeah.
So it's a very, very thin line where it's in the person, the trust, the kind of the relationship that you build. I don't think you can digitalize that.
Okay,
unless someone thinks of that idea.
I think Social Hub, for example, does it really well. It's all done offline. It's all done with congresses, the youth in-house. It's about rumor around the brand instead of having a great app. But still, I think you can also motivate people to talk about you via events or that kind of stuff. But it has to be real. It does have to be a commercial thing. So Social Hub does that a lot about what happens in the world. Do we do a congress? It happens in the lobby. Yeah, you also have your information about the hotel.
Elmar, I can imagine if people come into one of your outlets and they sitting at the bar at the Fitz, and then, where should I go next? Do you encourage that, or do you work with that, or the sommelier giving tips or for great wine bars in the city, or?
Absolutely. No, I think that having that personal connection with the guest is absolutely vital. Tomorrow morning when they come for breakfast again, hey, how was your lunch or dinner at the place I recommended? We do have 3 golden key concierge within our hotel, so really prestigious guidance that they give our guests. I always tell my teams, give them a recommendation, but always refer to our concierge. I mean, that's why we have them. You're not going to send people to a restaurant down the street if you have these guys that's been trained for this. It's like a Michelin star chef. They've worked years and years to achieve this status. Indeed, there might be a little kickback and so forth on the side, but at the level of the hotel, that also reflects on who you are. I think being a prestigious, luxurious 5-star hotel, if a concierge sends a guest to a random place, it's not really up to our standard or our level. It also reflects back.
Yeah, exactly.
So you really feel that all the way around. Digitalizing your outlets or your hotel or so forth, I think that first people need to know what's going on. Or just a logo or anything that I can relate to this. Yes, this is what I want.
Also trust.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And Michael, you're gonna in Rotterdam, even though they have a hotel or you have a restaurant in your hotel, so you have to actually send people out, right?
Well, not completely, because we will have dinner options. We will have a daily meal. I think that's very popular nowadays to have the daghap.
Yeah, very cheap.
We had that already a year ago, but it's okay. But I have to say, you have to take it personal, and you have to read your guest. If you're 5-star or 3-star or 2-star, you have to read your guest. What does he or she want to do today? You don't have to be on the same level as your hotel is or your restaurant is, but maybe he wants to go to the Febo. Okay,
let's go.
Read your guest, have that personal touch and contact.
Any questions from the audience for one of the 4 panelists? You, sir.
Thanks, guys, for a great conversation. I have a couple of questions. I'm trying to prioritize which one I want to ask. So to Elmar, yes, you said that when you make the breakfast a la carte, right? Doesn't that bring in extra cost in personnel, and does that balance out because you can't just have one person anymore in the kitchen doing all the buffet style, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to have multiple people in the kitchen. Does that balance out when you look at the waste and the personnel cost that goes together with that?
Thank you very much. Lovely question. This is one of the first things is your FTEs that you have to look out. That's a major cost. What we've done is really broken the menu down into different categories where I mentioned the basis is pretty much the same. Your mise en place beforehand can be done in a way that your assembly of all the different ingredients or so forth does not require additional hands. So now, if you do a breakfast a la carte for, say, for instance, 60, 70 people, you can do it with 2 good chefs. The 2 decent chefs that has been trained that specialized only in the breakfast itself. The nice thing is your breakfast team only does breakfast. After that, mise en place and go home. So it's not really, additionally for us, we didn't calculate any additional FTEs. We did, however, gain the FTE in the service team, if I can call it like that, setting up, refilling the plates, cleaning the buffet, keeping it presentable, taking that person now on the floor where they can really spend time more with the guest, making the moment count, if I can call it like that.
One more question, maybe. We were all so clear? No questions?
So as somebody who suffers from food allergies, I find it really difficult to eat out, and particularly in concept restaurants where there's very limited options on the menu. If we're talking about trends within food and beverages, do you take into account allergies, and do you try and make sure that you've got a nice variety of ingredients there that people can eat?
Well, yeah, that's also the way why people choose for supper as well. If you're gluten-free, fully standardized, is ready-to-go food, it's already waiting for somebody to be eaten, and you have that 100% security that is gluten-free or that is vegan, and you don't need the skilled staff to make something great about it. So it can be an addition to it, but I fully recognize it, especially when talking about something like health or nutritional value as well. If you know it up front, then I think a lot of guests will appreciate that you will communicate it. But of course you do need the tech behind it to support it.
Okay, well, thank you guys. Joost from Edes, Louis from Supper, Elmar de Beer from Pillows, and of course, last one, Michael Eman from The Usual.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
No,
Thanks.
thank you.